Hey everybody, and welcome to My Friend the Reader. This is Dobby. So, welcome to this book haul edition of My Friend the Reader. This is my one-eyed dog, Dobby, who is named after the character, the house elf in Harry Potter. And she is a darling. She's a darling. Unfortunately, she got glaucoma couple years ago, and she had to lose her eye last year, and she keeps on getting drops in her other eye, but even still, she's still a great dog with tons of good personality, huh, WB? Huh? Say hi to everyone. Okay, so she just wanted to say hello and introduce herself to the booktube community. So say hi, Debbie. There you go. What? Okay, let's move on. I'm doing a book haul video. It was my birthday last week. I got a gift certificate from my dad, and I ordered a bunch of books from Indigo, which is a big box chain, bookstore chain, similar to Barnes and Noble. They sell more than books, but I think it started as a book chain. And I'll go through various books. They're all paperbacks. They're all kind of backlist books that have won awards or been shortlisted. They've been interested in getting hard copies for a long time, and for whatever reason, I just didn't have it, and I haven't read these. So I am not sure when I'm going to get to them, but I thought I would share. So the first one is Colson Whitehead's John Henry Days. By this point, Colson Whitehead is a well-known name, having won the Pulitzer last year for The Underground Railroad, which coincidentally apparently is going to be turned into a mini-series directed by what's his name? The guy who made Moonlight. I remember his first name, Barry. So he's going to be directing the mini-series of the Underground Railroad. But prior to writing that book, which won numerous awards besides the Pulitzer, also won the National Book Award, I think it won the Carnegie Medal, he had some prior success. The Intuitionist, which is his first book, which is the other one I've read of his, is a fantastical story of elevator inspectors in dealing with questions of racism and kind of this magical feel to it. It's amazing, great writing. And the book, one of the other books that has gotten quite a lot of attention was John Henry Days. So I'll just read the back. On one level, John Henry Days brilliantly retells the story of the black steel driver who died outracing a machine designed to replace him. On another level, it's the story of a disaffected black journalist on a mission to set a record for junketeering who attends the first annual John Henry Days Festival. It is also a thrill ride through the tunnel where American legend gives way to American pop culture, replete with PR flacks, bluesmen, and turn-of-the-century song pluggers. Intellectually dazzling and laugh-out-loud funny, this extraordinary novel is a tour de force from one of the finest authors writing today. And I've only heard good things about it. Part of my online community of the Pulitzer winners, one of the main administrators of the site described this as his favorite Colson Whitehead book. So that was enough for me to finally go ahead and get it. And it's actually a really nice cover. I think it was one that was reissued after the Underground Railroad, because the Underground Railroad's mentioned, and it is quite a pretty design. So yeah. So the next one, another award winner, which I think I've mentioned before, and this is Wolf Hall. I had a copy of Wolf Hall a long time ago when I first tried to read it. It wasn't the trade paperback, it was a pocket-sized trade paperback. And for a 600-page novel, it was quite thick, so it didn't exactly fit in your pocket, but I decided to get the trade one. As I think I've mentioned, I was hoping to read all 5 of the shortlisted Golden Man Booker Awards, shortlisted books. I had read 2 of them before. I've read 2 of them since. I read V.S. Naipaul's book, and I read Moon Tiger. I've been Penelope Lively recently. Just finished it this weekend, which was great. The Naipaul book, not so great. I ended up voting for Penelope Lively's book, although I think Hilary Mantel is likely to win. Again, this was turned into a BBC series starring Mark Rylance, a hugely popular. It's a very recent book. I would just imagine it's going to get the most votes because it is a popular internet vote. I needed to read this at some point, so here it is. I'll try to pick it up this summer. I'm not sure I'm going to get it done by Saturday. The next is another Booker winner, and also a winner of the National Book Critics Circle Award, and that is Karan Desai's The Inheritance of Loss. Again, this is one of the really hard to find, surprisingly. My library didn't have any copies of it, so hey, great. I think I got it for like $10 from Chapters of Fire Indigo. So I'll read the description. In the northeastern Himalayas, at the foot of Mount Kanchenjunga, in a crumbling, isolated house, there lives a cantankerous old judge who wants nothing more than to retire in peace. But with the arrival of his orphaned granddaughter, Sai, and the son of the chatty cook trying to make his way in the U.S. and stay a step ahead of immigration services, this is far from easy. When a Nepalese insurgency threatens the blossoming romance between Sai and her handsome tutor, they too are forced to consider their colliding interests, and the judge must revisit his past, his own journey, and his role in this grasping world of conflicting desires, every moment holding out the possibility of hope or betrayal. A story of such depth and emotion, hilarity and imagination, rich, beautiful, and infinitely wise, The Inheritance of Loss is a glorious second novel from the author of the universally acclaimed Hullabaloo of the Guava Orchard. Anyways, this looks great. I love books taking place in the subcontinent. It's an area of the world that continues to fascinate me, and the literature from the area continues to keeps me coming back. The next is another winner of the National Book Critics Circle Award, a winner of the PEN/Faulkner Award, and a finalist for the National Book Award, and a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. And that is The March, a novel by E.L. Doctorow. I have never read him before. I've never read Ragtime. Obviously, probably more of the yesteryear's authors. Other authors that would probably fall in the same generation as Philip Roth, or who else was I thinking? Philip Roth, Richard Ford, the John Updike, the older generation, largely white authors who played an important role in creating, or at a particular stage of the American canon. Their voices have been replaced or diversified, which I think is a positive step, but I haven't read him, so I decided it would be good to go back. And this book takes place in the heart of a central moment in American history. I'm an American history buff. I did 2 degrees in American history, so I wanted to pick it up. And so this is the description. In 1864, Union General William Tecumseh Sherman marched his 60,000 troops from Georgia to the sea and then up into the Carolinas. The army fought off Confederate forces, demolished cities, and accumulated a borne-along population of freed blacks and white refugees until all that remained was the dangerous, transient life of the dispossessed and the triumphant. In E.L. Doctorow's hands, the Great March becomes a floating world, a nomadic consciousness, and an unforgettable reading experience with awesome relevance into our times. So yes, this sounds great, and I will definitely try to read it by the end of the year. And lastly, this is one that was shortlisted for the Man Booker Award in 2006, and it was winner of the Commonwealth Writers' Prize for Best First Book, Europe and South Asia. And this is In the Country of Men by Hishman Mater. Sorry, Dobby is barking. She must hear someone. And it's a beautiful cover, nice gold rimmed font. So I hadn't heard much of this other than I knew it was a shortlisted book. And another one that I think takes place in the area of the world that fascinates me. 9-year-old Suleiman is just awakening to the wider world beyond the games on the hot pavement, outside his home, and beyond the loving embrace of his parents. He becomes the man of the house when his father goes away on business, but then he sees his father standing in the market square in a pair of dark glasses. Suddenly, the wider world becomes a frightening place where parents lie and questions go unanswered. In his father's worrying absence, Suleiman turns to his mother, who under the cover of night entrusts him with the secret history of her childhood. And as lies and fears intensify, it feels as if the walls of the Suleiman house will break with the secrets held within. Again, it sounds ominously good. Anyways, that was my birthday haul. I thank my dad for supporting me on this one. Anyways, kept it short. I'm hoping everyone who is going through this heat wave, which we're having, I think the northern United States is also having, are surviving, keeping cool, reading books in air-conditioned spaces. Until next time, have a great one.